1988, the end of the year, we got our first Apple Mac in the country, and we got it in there, so that was different. And they employed people to run them, and I thought, okay, my spare time, I'm going to learn how to use it, because you've got to learn. And just with that, from one company to the next company, I started sales, and a couple of years into sales, one day my sales manager called me in and he said to me, look, something's up with you, we're not sure, it looks like you're doing some moonlighting or something. I said, well, why are you saying that? He says, no, we hear that you buying a house there, you're doing this. I said, no, it's everything with my pay that I get from you. I said, but I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't party like you guys do. So I said, so I've got money left at the end of the month to do other things.
Unfiltered AF, real ones rise, no mask, no flex. Lights on, mic check is next. This is the truth, Unfiltered AF.
Welcome back to another inspiring episode of Unfiltered AF, where I've got the privilege and honor to sit down with Jacques Marais, Managing Director and owner of Graphic Imprint and ONS and a couple of other business interests as well. Jacques, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alkin. Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure being here. It's always nice to come and meet with you and chat to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacques. So Jacques, you've been in business now for not only 1 year, but for a while.
Suppose it's about a year in layman's terms, but yeah, we've been around. I think I've been in my own business now for 27 years?
27 years.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime for some, right?
Yeah.
So before you went into business full time, if we can put it that way, what did you do after leaving school, or where did your interest for business start and so forth?
Well, I think as a youngster, I always had that interest of starting something for myself. I mean, I remember the stories my dad told me about. He'd give me money and the brothers and sisters to go and get some sweets or something, and I'll keep my 5 rand or 50 cents those days, and they'll go spend it, and then I'm the one with the money at the end of the day. So I didn't like spending, but yeah, you take money to make money.
Yeah.
So out of school, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I met somebody at a 21st party, invited me to go and have a look at printing, and I said, I don't know anything about printing. So, I mean, this is 1988 we're talking about, so they invited me. I went for a look at the shop, and I said, this is interesting. They didn't have computers at those days. I mean, if you can imagine, we did everything by hand. So I said to my dad, maybe I must go do this just to see. So at least I can get some money and then decide what I wanted to do. And I think, 37, 38 years later, or 39 years later, I'm still in the same industry.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
so your first job, you entered the printing
Yeah,
industry.
I ended straight away.
Okay.
That's the thing. So I started an apprenticeship. As I said, we did things by hand. So I was a layout artist, which is a photo compositor. Today, graphic designer.
Okay. So tell me, what was it like in those days, in the 80s, and printing? Because a few of us can fathom what that looks like.
It was actually awesome, because somebody said, you design an ad for me. It'll take them probably about 2 days to just think up what you want to do, and then you had to do the typesetting. We had to do all the composing, as we called it, by hand. So we had to do film. There was no computers to typeset, so we had to do the layout, change it, put it in position. So if somebody had to do a change on it, it takes maybe a day or so to do.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, time. People knew what time was, so there was no rush jobs, because I knew it had to take some time to get the job done.
Exactly. So in those days compared to today, what was the flavor of the month in terms of print? What type of media did you print the most?
Well, in those days, we started, I launched a couple of magazines in South Africa, helped them to do that. So it was magazine work. We did a lot of those days, I don't want to do brand dropping, but Edgar Sales House, those type of things. They were big in the industry, or in the country. And that's what we had to do. We had to do all the layouts of the ads in the shops, newspapers, that type of thing. So that's where it started with.
Okay, and then your progression towards becoming a business owner, how did that transition happen? What happened there?
Well, I think I always wanted to better myself, and I still believe in it today. If you don't learn something new every day of your life, you're not going to get anywhere in life. So if I learned your name today, I learned something. So that's what it's about. So in the quiet times, I used to go learn and see what other people's jobs are in the factory. So that's the way I learned everybody what they can do, what they can't do. And at the end of the day, I qualified, had to go to the army, got on the train, got down to the army base. They said it's not compulsory. I said, nice, I'll see you guys in another lifetime. Got back on the train, came back the Monday, knocked on it at work, and they said, but you're supposed to be in the army. I said, no, I'm here to work. A month later, they made me a manager, and I think that's where it just sparked. So I started doing works that, with bigger agencies, advertising agencies. So at those days, I remember the rush jobs that they used to do. Come in on a Friday, and it has to be printed by Monday morning. So on the weekend, you had to do all the work. That's how I realized. I said, doing this for somebody it's nice, but you have to learn. You have to grow yourself. You can't just do the same job over and over and over. Otherwise, you're going to stagnate. And I just started dabbling those days in 1988, the end of the year, we got our first Apple Mac in the country, and we got it in there, so that was different. And they employed people to run them, and I thought, okay, my spare time, I'm going to know how to use it, because you've got to learn. You've got to learn. And just with that, from one company to the next company, I started sales, and a couple of years into sales, one day, my sales manager called me in and he said to me, look, something's up with you. We're not sure. It looks like you're doing some moonlighting or something. I said, why are you saying that? He says, no, we hear that you buying a house there, you're doing this. I said, no, it's everything with my pay that I get from you. I said, but I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't party like you guys do. So I said, so I've got money left at the end of the month to do other things. And by the end of the meeting, I said to him, I think it's time I'm going to resign and do my own thing or something. So he says, okay, you're going to leave now? I said, yeah, right, I'm leaving right now. So he took me back to my desk, I took my stuff and I left.
In a box?
Not even in a box. Left out, picked up my mobile, said to the wife, guess what happened now? She says, what? I said, I just started my own business.
In what year was this, Jacques?
99.
99?
1999, yeah.
So that is
26 years.
26 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's how Graphic Imprint started.
Yeah, that's when I fully started. Well, no, Graphic Imprint was already established. They started in 1986, 87.
Okay.
Where they started as an advertising agency.
Okay.
Later years, I did business with a couple of them, and then I got the opportunity to buy into the company and then later on buy out all the shares and become the owner, yeah. So they've been around for 38, 39 years.
Okay. So when you resigned your full-time, what did you go and do then?
Well, I smoked, if that's the word I can use.
Hustled.
I could sell you anything and everything. So whether it was ice for an Eskimo, doesn't matter, I sold it to make sure that I'll get paid at the end of the month to pay the bills. And also one thing that I still believe in it today, that if you need, say 10,000 Rand to live in a month, that's what you got a budget for. When you get 11, put the 1,000 away. Don't spend the one or live up to becoming one, because then you expect it. So I always started saving money. When I've got some money put together, then I just did something else to make some money. Whether it was buying, fixing up houses or things like that. But yeah, that was basically, always what we did to pay the bills.
Okay. So how did you get to Graphic Imprint then?
So while I worked for a boss, I did basically become what they called a print broker. They had a couple of factories all over the country for this company, and then we had to sell, and then we had to arrange for quotes from the different companies and make sure if you get the order, it gets sent out to the companies, gets delivered, gets back to the client delivered. And then I learned, I said, you know what, although it's for them, I can do this for myself as well. And that's exactly what I did. I just went to see some people I've met in the industry. I had a little bit of a name at that stage, and they all said to me, you know what, we'll help you come and see us. They gave us some credit. And if it wasn't for those guys, probably wouldn't be here today.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So how long have you been involved with Graphic Imprint then today?
Today we're talking, I started, bought into the company in 2010.
Why did you decide on Graphic Imprint?
You know what, sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, sometimes in the wrong place at the wrong time. And for me, what happened is that one of my clients that I sold some print media and stuff through to, his son passed away in a motor vehicle accident. And they approached me and they said, listen, yeah, we know you're a good guy in business and all that, don't you want to take over the business? And that I decided not to do so because it was not on the books. And then the owner of Graphic Imprint bought that company.
Okay.
And then they had some signage stuff that they did and so forth. And they then approached me and said, listen, yeah, we know you do a lot of corporate gigs, corporate stuff. Don't you want to just buy that from us? And that's what happened. I actually ended up buying just a small part of the company. And then I started the main print. Well, the signage side of it, which I still own. It's the company. And what we did is then we started doing corporate clothing, vehicle branding, all that type of stuff.
Okay.
Just whatever it takes to get you going.
Okay, fantastic.
And then at a later stage, myself and the other guys sort of became friends. We had a beer one day and he said, you know what, I can't ever go on holiday because I'm alone in the business and all that. I said, I sit with the same problem. And then I don't know if it was too many beers or too little beers, but then we said, let's throw our stuff together and let's start together. And that's what we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
And that's how I bought into Graphic Imprint, known as Print then.
Okay. Right. And still there till...
Still there, yeah. He went, decided a year later, 2 years later, he said, no, a year later, he said to me, you know what, this year I'm going to go for a long holiday. Next year you can do it. I said, by all means, I'm happy to be here. You go. So he went overseas, Australia, went for a nice visit, came back, was all good. December, when I said to him, no, I think I want to go on holiday, he said, no, I'm going to immigrate.
He threw you a curveball.
Yeah, so he threw a curveball at me. And yeah, that's why then I bought him out. And today I'm the only owner.
Okay, fantastic. And tell me, you've seen it all in the last 15, 16, 17 years of running these businesses. There's been highs and there's been lows, I would assume.
Yeah, there's always, and you know, they come when you don't expect it. That's why you have to make provisions for those times. You've got to try and streamline your business at all times. You know, people just think, you know what, that's quiet now I've got to cut costs. No, should have cut costs when you were busy. Because, you know, when people are busy, they waste money. They spend money on silly little things. And now it doesn't help to, you know, to watch the pennies and then lose the pounds. You've got to really look at and see where you streamline, how you can save money to make sure you get through all the times. And yeah, the wheel turns. It's always, people say it's a 7-year cycle. I don't believe in it. It's a different cycle. We saw when COVID hit, that changed everything completely. And otherwise it didn't change. But in my industry, it changed quite a bit. And people said, what are we going to do now? Instead of going to sit in a corner and cry and say, oh, my business is now seen its bottom end, what are we going to do? You've got to look and stick with the times, change with the times, adapt. Yeah.
So what measures did you have to put in place during COVID and after COVID to ensure the thrivability, if that's a word, of your businesses?
Well, I think it's just what I summed up. Fortunately for us, it was a month of chaos. And thereafter, we went back to work. Yes, it was different times. We had to work different hours because you couldn't work full hours and things like that. Everybody got paid. Everybody had a job. So that's what it was important. And it was standing together. And at least, I must be honest with you, and I'm grateful to God about that I didn't have to let one person go.
Okay, wow.
So, and that's why I say that's my greatest achievement, is to have kept all those jobs and still there today. So yes, we didn't really have to change. But fortunately, you know, when somebody sees a light a mile away, people sometimes stand still and wait to see what the light is, instead of saying, what can it be? If it's this, must I go left? If it's that, must I go right? People don't make contingency plans. Fortunately for me, I've been blessed and I could see those things, and we've been through it, so we didn't have to do major changes.
Okay.
But then, as time changed, because of how our industry changed, I've adapted and I've bought different equipment. Where we had long-run printing equipment, which I've still got. We've started doing shorter-run equipment, digital printing, flatbed printing, that type of stuff, to just adapt, because obviously the market's changed.
Yes. So what is your future plans? What's next for Jacques? Something that's exciting.
Retirement.
No, man, you're too young to retire.
No, I'm joking.
Or too wealthy.
No, too healthy.
Okay.
Too healthy.
Okay.
Wealth is wealth. I've got some ideas which I'm pondering with.
Okay.
But I've got some ideas that I want to expand, 1 or 2 businesses.
Okay.
Want to do something else as well. I've been putting out my feelers around just to find the right, so let's say, niche market. I'm currently acquiring a property company as well.
Okay.
It's got a couple of properties in it. I always thought property is the profile to do, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do in certain things. Depends on what you want with the outcome. So, I'm looking. I don't want to say too much.
No.
But there are some things on the horizons, expanding. Maybe one of the things that I've always dreamt of is to start subdivisions of graphic imprint or print in different little towns to help people grow. I've got somebody that I earmarked now that I want to try and coach and grow and see for, because I've also, like I said, retirement sounds scary, but whether it's 10 or 15 years away, it doesn't matter. You've got a plan for that. So it doesn't take 2 years to train somebody to take over your position.
Exactly, a succession plan.
A succession plan is very important. Somebody told me once that when you do start a business, most people just think of how am I gonna survive this month, instead of how am I gonna grow this business so the day I want to retire, I've got something that I can sell that's got value, instead of just having a brokerage where when you want to retire, you just lock the door behind you and you've got nothing to show.
Or you can keep on earning a dividend.
Yeah, exactly.
As an alternative option, right?
That's why I say,
So Jacques, I just love your story and how you've been also very responsible in the way you've approached it. Saving is a big thing I can hear for you, and being responsible in how you manage your resources. Now, our viewers, if we look at those who want to start businesses today or in the near future, but they've got people surrounding them, telling them, listen, you're making a mistake. I don't think you should do this. But they've got a passion and truly a good idea, but they're just too scared to take the next step. What advice can you give those individuals?
Yeah, no, definitely they must take the chance. I mean, I always tell people, when I started my business, said to the wife, I started my own business, and a week later we found out she's pregnant with our first child. So that's a double whammy. So that forced me to work. So that's why I say, if you're really keen on making a living out of it, do it. Because, people say, but my own business is hard and it's stressful. Yes, it is. I've actually been driving out today now on the way here, and I was thinking to myself, geez, I've been 26 years, been starting with a zero balance every month. And I've been doing it for so long. And I know you asked me the other day the question, and I thought about it, and I said, geez, you know what, that's actually part of me. It doesn't stress me out anymore because there's nothing you can do about it. So I would say do it, but make sure you've got all your ducks in a row. Because a lot of people start their own businesses, and I've seen it, it's worked for me. Now I'm going to start my own business. We're not all meant to start our own businesses. We've got leaders and you've got workers, and that's how life is, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, not all of us, imagine if all the leaders in the world, just leaders, It would be more chaos than what it is. Most of the leaders aren't leaders anyway.
Let's not get into politics right now. eh?
But that's why I'm saying, you know, so make sure you've got a little bit of a backup plan, so you've got some money. I always say to people, before you start, I didn't have that opportunity, but that's why I had to work 3 times as hard. But make sure you've got some income stashed away that can carry you for maybe 3 or 4 months. And don't go and spend money on silly things. You know, people, for me, I used to, as a youngster, I used to drive a new car every 2 years, every year or so. And it was nice to be, but it was a waste of money. It was really a waste of money. Whether I drive a Porsche or I drive a Beetle, doesn't matter, as long as I've got a reliable vehicle, gets me to work on time, gets me where I want to be, keeps me safe. That's what's important. And people measure wealth with whatever the people drive. So you often see the people driving these expensive 6 million rand vehicles, and then you look where they live. And what do they do? And you say, okay, you know, so
Priorities.
Priorities. That's why I say, do it, but make sure you've got the guts. Because if you don't have the guts, you're going to waste your time.
So I get a lot of messages from aspiring entrepreneurs, those who want to start their own businesses, that they need this, they need so much money, they need resources to start a business. What is your take on that? Is that an excuse? Is it valid? Can you start a business with no capital?
It depends on what business you want to start. I mean, if you want to do a car salesman, are you going to sell any cars? Are you going to buy cars? But saying that, there's a way. I mean, I've met people around and they said, all right, I'm going to start my own business as a car salesman. And say, you know, Alkin, you want that Ford Ranger Bucky? I've got a friend that's got one for sale, and he'll set up the deal and you'll make 5,000 rand. So you didn't lay out any cash. So that's why I say, not always do you need cash to make that. But the resources is very important, because you've got to have your visibility, you've got to have some branding at least done, things like that. But it happens slowly. It doesn't have to happen all at once. People start a new business and they say, cool, we're going to do this big launch. Let's go big. And they say, go big or go home. But those are the businesses most of the time fail, because they put all their resources into start big. And then they've got no capital to run the business. It's the same, you know, people buy a vehicle. I can afford R1 million vehicle, but I can't afford to service it.
Well, or to replace the tires in it.
That's the same way. So, yes, but there are many businesses. I mean, you know, that's why I say, if my kids, they've done school, they used to do little T-shirt printing for people and all of that. So that's why I say there are definitely ways of starting your own business without any capital. But capital is probably the most important thing to start with.
So, in today's day and age, you've touched on your more challenging seasons in your business. With some of our viewers out there, business owners who find themselves at a crossroad where things are a bit difficult right now. They're despondent. They've lost their passion and focus because of challenges, maybe cash flow, or they lost a couple of big deals from clients, or whatever the case might be. What advice do you have for them to continue and to move forward, and not just to give up?
Yeah, definitely don't give up. You've got to, you know, motivate yourself, get up every morning and make sure you've got a positive face on, positive smile. When you surround yourself with negative people, you're going to become more negative. So be positive, then you'll see everything else will fall in place. Because when you want to think your business is in a bad space, clients don't want to do business with people battling. That's or negative, or somebody that says, you know, yes, I need this deal, please, man, otherwise I can't pay the bill. People don't want to do that. So that's why I say, surround yourself with positive people, positive input, and the light will bring together, and you'll see everything will work out. I know it's easier said than done, but I've been doing it for some time, and trust me, it's been tough times as well. But you must just persevere, and at the moment, you know, business is tough at the moment, A lot of the people, I hear that every day. I go to businesses because I like to go visit the clients, and they all tell me, oh, the staff's negative or this. That is because news, everything you see is negative everywhere. But forget about the negative. Start with the positive. Say thank you for waking up every day. I've got a business to go to. Thank you. Make sure you motivate your staff. Without positive staff, your business is also not going to succeed.
But if you're not positive, they're also not going to be positive.
They pick it up.
Because you need to lead them.
Yeah.
So.
You know, positive people resonate together. That's the thing. And you know how it works. If somebody starts laughing, I watched a video clip the other day on social media where this guy just in a tube in London, he started laughing. And everybody looked at him, he was weird. But 5 minutes later, the whole tube was laughing, the whole train. And that's what it's about.
It's infectious.
It's infectious,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. And the same with negativity. It's the same way. And I mean, the saying comes from when we were kids, just takes one rotten apple to make a basket rotten. You know?
Yeah. Jacques, thank you for your valuable insight. Where can, if our viewers are interested in getting hold of you or your team at Graphic Imprint and ONS and so forth, where can they get hold of you?
Well, it's simple. They can look at us up on Facebook as well, Graphic Imprint, or at Graphic Imprint, ONS Print as well. They can look at us. They can phone us on 0861 667 123. So it's simple, quite that. They can also look at our website. If they go to our website, they'll see both websites, www.giprint.co.za or www.onsd.co.za. They will have a look at our websites and they can see we've got catalogs up there, all the things we can do and so forth. And then obviously, you know, email address is jacques@giprint.co.za.
Jacques, it was truly an honor having you with us today with your story, how you started, how you persevere, and that you are still also looking forward and continuously learning and through that remaining positive as well. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
To our viewers out there, thank you for tuning in to another exciting, inspirational episode of Unfiltered AF, where Jacques inspired us all with his inspirational story of going into business and building business, but also remaining positive. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe our channels to stay informed about these inspirational stories moving ahead as well. See you next time. Have a good one. Cheers.
Unfiltered AF, real ones rise, no mask, no flex. Lights on, mic check is next. This is the truth, unfiltered AF.